Good morning, class. Please excuse my appearance and my low voice. I'm not really feeling too good today, but I do want to get these videos out for you all. That way we can keep continuing to progress. Last videos, we left off on Division 6B roof framing. And today we are going to be focusing on Division 6B front porch box beam construction. Okay, so there's going to be a couple of things that you're going to need. You're going to need your details, which can be found on sheet A4 for your built up beam detail. And you're also going to need your roof plan, which can be found on sheet A3 across from your foundation plan, the one that we were using earlier in Division 6B roof framing. Okay, so make sure that you have those two things readily available, and we will jump right into our first calculation. All right, so as you can see, I have my roof plan sheet, which is on sheet A3, and it's showing here that my built-up beam is connected here in the bold dashed lines, but I also have a second plan just so that it'll be easier for me to kind of tell you guys what I'm talking about. That is focused on my sheet A4, and I'm looking at detail number 1 on A4, which is my built up beam detail. Okay, so if you're looking at your scope of work, okay, the very first line item is your box beam 4 2x6 calculation. Okay, so it is talking or referencing your 4 1 2, this is a gap, 3 4 2x6s that is going to run the full perimeter of your porch. Okay, so in this case it is going to go here, here, and here. All right, now these plans on your roofing section don't have dimensions. However, your floor plan does. So that is going to be another thing that we need to take a look at. Okay, and that is our floor plan, which can be found on sheet A1. And right here, we know that our, box beam is running here, right here, to the center of this, to here. Okay, so that's where our box beam is sitting at. So it is telling us that the dimension, which the dimension line is going from here to here, and we're just going to treat it as even numbers for right now. So it is 26. We're going to treat it as if it's an even number, that it's going from this corner to this corner, even though it's a little bit centered. And we're going to treat it, again, we're going to treat it as if it is a full seated dimension. So we're going to use the 8 feet, okay? Just so that our numbers are a little bit clean and concise, and, you know, we don't have a lot of converting to do. So if that's the case, then you're going to take 8 feet plus 26 feet plus another 8 feet, get that total, and then you are going to multiply it by 4 because you have 4 2x6s, okay? And then it says with a 2x8 top and bottom, but we'll get there. All right, so once you have gotten your total linear feet for your front porch box beam, I got a total linear foot of 42. So then, and multiplied that by 4 and got my answer. So then the next item is your 2x8 calculation. So you're just going to take that same linear footage, which again, I got 42, and you're going to multiply that by 2 instead, okay? So you got 48 times 4, and then you have 48 times 2. All right, not hard, not difficult. The next thing that we need to worry about is our 1/2 inch OSB sheathing that is going to go on the outside of our house, okay? And it is this detail right here, okay? So it doesn't look like it tells us what our overall height needs to be. However, I believe there's something else that might tell us what the height is. So I have over here this height, and you know your house has to be, you know, symmetrical and clean. So I have a height here of 9¼ inches, okay? So we're essentially going to do the exact same thing and have 9¼ inches of height. And another thing that you can kind of take into account is that you have a 1x10 trim on the outside portion of your porch, okay? And a 1x10 for its actual dimension, it's 9¼ inches. So that kind of works out. The math makes sense on that one, okay? So we need to convert our 9 foot 9½ inches, our 9¼ inches, whew, I don't know what I was thinking, and convert that to decimal feet, okay? All right, so once I converted my 9¼ inches by taking that and dividing it by 12, I got a nominal decimal feet dimension of 0.77 feet, okay? So I'm going to take my 42 feet, which is the perimeter of my house, okay, and multiply it by the height, remember we're calculating the sheathing, of the 0.77 to get my total square footage, okay? It's not difficult, it's not hard. The next thing that we will be tackling is our freeze trim 1x10. Again, this is what it is pointing to. It is just going to go around the perimeter of your porch. So you already have that dimension. It is 42. All right. 42 linear feet. Or, you know, if you get something different for your porch calculation, you know, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It is also asking you for your freeze trim freeze trim 1x2. And I am not seeing that over here called out. I'm assuming they're referring to this right here because it says 1x trim. So I think they maybe just forgot the 2. So again, that is just going to go around the perimeter of your porch, and that is going to be 42 as well. Then you have your freeze trim 1x10. So the first freeze trim 1x10 was your interior. So that was this side, okay? The freeze trim 1x10 that they are asking for now is going to be your freeze trim that is on the outside, okay? So this right here. So it's just going to be the exact same linear footage. It should have maybe been in square feet too, because it would just be the same square footage as your, well, no, because freeze trim is ordered in linear foot. So ignore that comment. So that one's just going to be 42 as well. And then you have your freeze trim backing. So you're just going to take your 42 linear footage and you're just going to multiply that by 2 to get your total linear footage calculation for that. Okay. So it's not difficult. I'm going to kind of show you all what that looks like in calculation form on my sheet of paper. And so I'm going to pause this video. All right, so good news. I was able to find my green sheet of paper finally. So all of my calculations have been transferred to my green sheet, which is a wonderful, wonderful deal. All right, so as you can see, my first calculation for my box beam is my 4 2x6s. I have my 8 plus my 26 plus another 8. That was my 42. Multiplied by 4 and got the 168 linear feet. My 2x8 was the same 42 multiplied by 2, and I got 84. My 1/2 inch sheathing was the 42 times the height of 0.77 feet, which again was 9 1/4 inches, and got that total square footage. I got for my freeze trim 1x10, it was the same 42. For my freeze 1x2, it was 42. For my interior, excuse me, it was 42. For my freeze trim 1x2, it was 42. For my freeze trim exterior in this point, it was 42. For my freeze trim backing, it was 84. One that we didn't go over was our Simpson H10 ties and our fiberglass columns. So again, if you have your Anderson Truss cheat sheet that we used earlier, you could sell that. Remember, I had my porch broken out into 5 trusses. So if I have 5 trusses and you have to tie them down on both sides, it was just 5 times 2. And I got 10 H10 Simpson ties. I think porch is H2 actually. If I'm not mistaken. No, it says H10. Okay. And then for my fiberglass columns, I just counted the number of columns that was on my floor plan, and that came out to 4. Okay, so it is not difficult. That kind of wraps up Division 6B in a nutshell. So hopefully these videos kind of helped you and guide you through it, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.